Is there like is that like a fairly typical thing for like there to be mixing of the different like tribes and stuff?
Yeah.
Do they talk shit about each other like Asians?
Yeah, do you guys do? Oh my god,
They
we all know
actually
about these Hopis. You know what I'm saying? They're
They
so
actually
angry.
do.
What? Yo.
Everyone's like, Hopis are short.
Oh, is that
and
what?
slow.
Oh, yo, hit me with that.
And welcome back to another episode of Asian Not Asian Podcast, a podcast where two Asian guys not from Asia talk about American issues no American cares about. I'm your host, Fumi Mic.
And I'm Mike Nguyen.
We are coming at you live from New York City. We're in the studio again
Woo-woo.
together.
Yeah.
Today's Friday, October 15th. We hope you are doing well.
Well, if you are checking us out on the Apple Podcast app, please leave a review. Hit 5 stars. Just takes a second. Go in there right now. Hit 5 stars. If you're on Spotify, hit follow so we can be all up in your grill. And if you're listening or watching this on YouTube, hey, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, something nice. I like to hear nice comments.
We haven't seen we've seen our ratings go up, but we haven't seen any comments, like the reviews. You know what I mean? People are hitting 5 stars, but they're not leaving.
I will get one of these
text.
reviews tattooed on me. Okay.
Okay. That's a Patreon tier. Leave the best review.
You don't think I would do? I would do it.
I honestly
I would do it.
Well, first of all, the format of that is a cool tattoo.
It's tight.
It is a cool tattoo.
Yeah. And what I would love to is that like I get like I think we're at a 4.9. I would get a 4.9 stars on there, and people would just think, oh, he's just rated his body. That's 4.9 stars. And
you
I
should
would
get
do it.
There's that one review that's like, Fumi's annoying, Mike is funny. You should get that one.
I would 100% get that.
Yeah,
I'll do it. So yeah.
Well,
please.
there we go. There you have it. Best review goes on Mike's body. So think about that as you're listening to this on your iPhones. Before we start the show, we always do give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers by guessing what ethnicity they are based purely on their last name. Now, what is Patreon, you may be wondering? It is the best way to support this podcast. We're completely independent. We're not with a network. And so you can go to patreon.com/asian.asianpod and subscribe to our Patreon page for $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever you want to give. And depending on how much money you give, you get bonus stuff like bonus episodes. We slide into your DMs with a funny video. We do monthly hangouts on Zoom. So if you want, if any of those things sound delicious to you, please check us out.
Yeah.
And here we go. We're going to try to guess these people's last name or ethnicities based on their last name. A very problematic game.
Yeah.
But here we are. Jimmy Lee. L-E-E.
This guy he's like the good old American Chinese dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's like the guy, he's a skinny dude, but then he joins the army during World War II, and then he gets hit with the serum, and then he becomes Chinese American Captain America.
Oh shit.
This is Jimmy Lee was he wanted to serve his country, and he got hit with the serum, and now he's Chinese American Captain America.
Okay, so you're a Chris Evans Asian.
You're Chris Evans Asian.
Gotcha. Okay, next we have Kendra Purnell.
Kendra Purnell.
First of all, by the way, I'm just giving you a little spoiler alert. Not a lot of Asians on this list I'm about to read tonight.
Okay, that's okay.
I don't know if they could be, but like I don't know. Kendra Purnell is that?
Kendra Purnell. I'm gonna say this person is biracial.
Purnell. That's last name is sounding like dad CEO energy.
Yeah, dad CEO.
Dad, like the dad is the founder of Apple and Eve. Apple juice or something.
I'm getting field hockey vibes.
Yeah,
field hockey vibes.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
and she went to
She's got a thick neck.
She got a thick neck. She went to a good liberal arts school, and now she's finished with field hockey, and she's like, you know what? I wanted to kind of explore my Asian side now. So I think you're a biracial person.
I think you're biracial.
You're a field hockey Asian.
You're a field hockey Asian.
Yeah.
Should we guess real quick what kind of Asian?
I'm just gonna go with Chinese also.
Chinese. Statistically, that makes sense. Next we have, is this even a name? Wendy Dorstein?
Okay, this is 100% a.
It's like a Jewish anime character.
No way, I feel Dorstein. That's almost like a Game of Thrones kind of name. You know, House of Dorstein.
Yeah.
Windy. See, so I think she might be one of those like horseback Game of Thrones types.
Oh, Dothraki Asian?
Dothraki Asians.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
I am getting a Mongolian vibe. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right.
Not gonna get it.
Dorstein.
Yeah. Ooh.
House Dorstein.
Yes, you're.
I am Windy of House Dorstein.
That sounds tight. I actually don't even know the gender of this person, but that doesn't even fucking matter.
Doesn't matter.
You're a badass.
The people of the steppe are not binary. Okay.
That's true.
You know.
Here we go.
They're evolved beyond.
You're a horse Asian, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Yep.
And finally, we have Pamela Rosales.
Rosales.
R-O-S-A-L-E-S. Les. Now, when it sounds, well, is this Spanish?
Here's the
I was going to
thing.
go Filipino, but this sounds Italian
You're right.
to me.
You're right.
It
Go,
sounds
keep
Italian
going.
to
Keep
me.
going. I actually do think this person is Latinx or Latino.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Latinx
yeah.
because Rosales, that's like, you know, you can get a Spanish name, but it's got to be like a real real Spanish, like from Spain on a crest of arms kind of name. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Garcia.
De Guzman, all that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rosales, you know, I am getting a little
it's
bit
mild spicy.
It is mild spicy.
It's not too spicy.
It's not. It's El Torito. Okay? It's El Torito.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking this person's Mexican, dude.
Dude, I think you're right. Maybe
I think
probably lives
so.
in, like East LA, probably chilling.
Chilling, you know,
Yeah.
big hoop earrings. I love it.
I love it. Thank you so much. And again, if you want to get in on this game, please go to patreon.com/Asian.AsianPod and we'll guess your ethnicity based on your last name.
Yeah.
At the top of this podcast, we always like to ask each other, what kind of Asian were we this week? Because this podcast, we try to figure out what it means to be Asian American. So, Mike, what kind of Asian were you this week?
I was a at-home Asian.
It's always some shit like this, man.
I am. I am
last time you were an old Asian. Now
I'm an
you're at
old
home.
Asian.
Last 2
You know
weeks
what
your
it is?
back hurt or whatever.
I'm starting to see the pattern here. Okay, so I went and hung out. I had like a hangout.
Yeah.
I had a dinner with this comedian and super nice dude, and he and I, you know, we've been hanging and went to a spot near where I live in Bed-Stuy, and we went to Peaches Hot House. It was super good. And hanging out with, he's super funny, and he's South Asian, but he like grew up in Queens, so he has like this Jerry Seinfeld energy. He's like, "What is this? This isn't chicken. You call this chicken?"
But he's Asian.
But he's South Asian, and he's really funny. So hanging out with him, and then afterwards, like we're finished with dinner, and then he's like, "All right, what are you doing now?" And I was like, "Oh man, you know, I think I'm gonna go home." And he was like, okay, or, you know, is everything cool? I was like, yeah, man, you know, I'm just.
Oh, he thought maybe the hang didn't go well.
Well, yes, exactly. I think he thought that. Well, later on, he texted me like the next day. He's like, hey man, cool hanging out with you. Everything cool? And I was like, dude, don't worry. Yeah. Don't worry.
It's just 8 o'clock. That's all it is.
It really was. it really was. So like we were hanging out, and at right next to Peach's Hot House, there was this group of like people had come down from their apartment and were playing music wild loud.
Yeah.
So loud.
Okay.
And I think he thought like maybe I got weirded out by that or something like that. And I was just like, bro, you have to understand, Mike Nguyen, I'm an at-home Asian. Okay. Anytime that I can, if I'm not doing comedy or I'm not, like, you know, it was also a Tuesday, so I'm just like, I just always feel like I gotta get home, I gotta rest, I go jujitsu in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta hang out with my wife.
Yeah,
that's me. But I wonder sometimes if that kind of like gets to people, because now people are like, we can't ask Mike to hang out because you had a little hangout, little Asian dinner.
Yeah, I did. But it was past 8 o'clock.
Exactly. And I saw on Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people hanging out, all these cool Asian people that are beautiful and awesome. And I'm not mad or anything at all. But then I was like, because honestly, I was like, man, they're out late. I'm pretty sleepy, and my stomach has been weird lately.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would rather be an at-home Asian than a restaurant, I got diarrhea Asian.
Yeah.
That's not good.
That's really interesting what you said about how your friend thought maybe things weren't cool because you went home early.
Yeah.
Because almost like in New York, if you decide to hang out with a friend in New York, if you don't stay up past 11, it's almost like, are we even friends?
Right.
There is that thought. If I hung out with somebody and they went home immediately after dinner at like 7:30,
right,
I might really think I offended them or something like that.
No, I you know, it's fun.
That's
I mean,
really
it
crazy.
really was, and I was just, and I had really like to, you know, had to say, I was like, no, I gotta wake up, or I got a lot of stuff on my mind. You know, I'm just. Yeah, it was great hanging out with this person. This person I think listens to the podcast. You know who you are. And you're funny as fuck. And we're going to hang out again. Yeah. You know, it was just Tuesday, bro. Yeah. It's a Tuesday.
Okay.
How about you, Fumi? What kind of Asian were you this week?
This week I was a living under a rock Asian.
Oh, this was so funny.
And I know a lot of people are so sick of hearing about living under a rock Asians because we're all over the news. And I don't want to, you know, like, you know, say what's already been said or anything like that. But this week you and I were a guest on this podcast. We've been trying to guest on other people's podcasts so we can grow our listenership. Yeah. And we were a guest on this podcast called Troubled Waters with Dave Holmes. Okay, it is a pop culture quiz game.
And hold on, stop. From a millennial babies, Dave Holmes. Dave Holmes from MTV. Dave Holmes.
And I didn't even know who that was.
Dave Holmes.
You were like, I used to watch you on TV. Dude.
This guy is the man.
Was he before Carson Daly? Because I was a Carson Daly guy.
He is like, I guess, like if Carson Daly's generation 2, he's generation like 1.5. Like they kind of overlapped.
Okay.
But he was like the news guy. He was like very, you know, he's very very serious, you know what I'm saying? Which was funny because I thought he was going to be real serious, but he's very funny.
Yeah.
So but that's Dave Holmes.
That's Dave Holmes, right? So it's a pop culture quiz game show, and we're like, why not? You know, and it was really funny because it was like a Halloween edition. So it was all the questions are about classic American horror film things related to that thing. And pop culture trivia shit is anything involved in that is my biggest fear in America because I'm an immigrant and there's so many things I don't know about classic American things simply because it's just not something that my family we did together. I think families get together and watch horror movies if you're white or something. I just didn't do
that's
that.
Not true. But
so
yeah.
I don't know I don't know much about classic horror films.
I was preparing for this podcast. I was listening to it and you know, the format right now they have two comedians and they go against each other and answer these kind of like pop culture quiz things. And as I was listening to it, I was like, we are fucked. There is no fucking way. This is like white people love quizzing each other on things, okay?
Yeah,
and they just love doing it. And Asian people, we do not do that unless there's like multiple choice. Give that to it. Hit me with a multi-choice. Hit me with an essay. Yeah, dude. You know what I'm saying? But like, give me the buzzer. I'm not gonna do that. We're not gonna fucking do the buzzer.
Go ahead.
But like, it was just so hilarious because I'm always astounded by how little you know. I'm sometimes like, dude, do you know you're in America? Do you know that? Do you know where you are? It's crazy. And I mean, it's fine.
Remember the first question?
Yes.
The first question was like we had to like
guess.
Basically, the game was like they describe what this horror character looks like, and you have to name that monster character. And the clue was I wear striped shirts.
I wear striped shirts. I have a disfigured face, right? And
I kill people.
And I think he mentioned a glove or something. And Fumi, so confident, was just Chucky. And I fell out of my seat and I was like, this is how it's going to be for 45 minutes. It was literally 45 minutes of like Dave Holmes going, okay, how about this character? He has a hockey mask, huh? And Fumi just confidently answering aliens, you know, just over and over again. And it was just so funny. I mean, you know, you got a point. I don't know what white people do and don't do, but I will say that the reason why I know a lot of this stuff is because I grew up in a 7-Eleven. I'm serious. My dad worked at he managed a 7-Eleven.
Okay.
At the time, you could rent videos from 7-Eleven. And I would walk up and down the aisle of the store, and I would look at all the different covers.
Yeah.
And I was like way too scared to like obviously watch it. And my parents didn't really watch horror movies, but that's how I learned about pop culture, just being let loose in a 7-Eleven. Yeah. That's how I knew a lot.
You knew the latest news about croissants and
I know so much.
Movies.
I know so much about Slurpees and horror franchises.
What's crazy is like I think my parents know a lot about these things, but it's because this was such a hit movie and they were in their 20s, in their like in the 70s and 80s, so they went to go see it as somebody who was like, oh, I'm in this country and like this is a popular movie, whereas like. But I think there's no culture of like, let's look at old shit together in my household.
But they continue to make Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing is like I just don't watch horror. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there was one question you had which was like kind of an anime related one, and you like nailed that one.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
So if there's ever a pop quiz show
about anime,
specifically about anime,
about
but only only that.
Yeah.
We're going to get everything else.
Anyways.
But please check out that podcast. It's called Troubled Waters.
Literally, I only scored 3 points in 45 minutes. It was the most... I can't believe it's going to be in public. I'm going to cancel myself.
So funny.
Anyways, I want to ask, a guest what kind of Asian he's been this week. And also, just want a quick reminder, I think this is our 200th episode.
This, I think, is our 200th episode.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very excited to bring him home. Here's a little quick intro about him. We used to think this guest was Asian.
Yes.
Until he told us that he wasn't.
He was called Asian passing.
He's Asian passing. Those are his words. Those are his words.
That was he said that.
But this dude, he is a comedian.
He's a comedian
in New York City. You
so
can
funny.
see his stuff on Comedy Central. He's also an enrolled member of the Tohono O'odham Nation and a member of the Hopi and Navajo Nation. Guys, it's Brian Bahe.
Brian Bahe!
Whoa.
Yo.
What's going on?
What's up? How are you guys?
Good, man.
Happy
It's a huge honor to be here.
I know.
Huge honor to be the 200th ep.
Yeah, you're going to be the 200th
amazing.
episode.
You're going to be 200.
We're going because, we always, our whole tagline is to Asian guys not from Asia talk about American issues no American care about. But then we were like, you know what? Let's go even beyond American. Let's get even original.
Original
deep.
American.
Original,
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
First OG American.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
sub. It's like if you dig for like far enough,
Yes.
like I'm
yeah.
there.
There's like a skeleton wearing short jean shorts, and that's you. We gotta ask you, Brian, what kind of Asian were you this week?
All right, if I'm being honest, just to do a little like rip off,
Of course.
from your intro, I think I was horse Asian.
Horse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you guys said?
We said horse Asian.
Yeah.
There was a horse Asian
I'm like
earlier.
deep horse Asian this
Deep
week.
horse Asian.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll let us know what
Why?
that means. Yeah.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I think it means I found a leather jacket at a thrift store this week.
Everything you've said so far is the most Native American thing I've heard. I'm a horse Asian, and I found a leather jacket. Continue.
I found a leather jacket, and it fit me in a way that I've never been able to find a leather jacket that actually fits me before. And I was like, holy shit, this is fate. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so dumb. Are leather jackets made of horses? I thought it was cows.
Well,
It's like cows, but it's like, it just feels like a cowboy vibe in a way.
Ah.
A horse
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
was it super expensive?
It was 100.
Okay,
But I feel if I
ridiculous.
retailed it, it would have been like easily 6, 7, 8.
I mean, that's the cool thing about sometimes there's a leather jacket. You go to a thrift store, some leather jackets are garbage, and then some of them, you'll find like the one.
I found the one, and I was like, this. They could have easily marked this up even
yeah.
more. This is a steal. So I bought it. I have a wedding to go to in like 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm gonna wear this leather jacket.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it that kind of
Yes.
wedding you can wear a leather
It's
jacket?
like upstate, but like gay and chill. So I'm like, so that's why I'm horse Asian this week.
Yeah.
Brian, I want to start here. And listen, we've been trying to get you on for a while, even though
We have, honestly.
like internally we've been trying.
Internally,
to get you
we
on.
have.
We just wanted to find the right moment
Yeah.
because I feel you're such an interesting person. There's so many things I want to get into, but I
You are an
think it's just
interesting
like
person.
so crazy because like I've personally like you were like one of the first people I ever met when I started comedy.
Seriously, same.
And I don't mean this in like a weird way, but this is truly how it is, and I think you would agree. When I first met you, in my mind, you were Asian and straight, and now you're gay and Navajo.
Yeah.
And so, like, what's up? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Can I say when you know this is a thing when Fumi and I were starting comedy, and this is around the time you started comedy, we could like use the radar, right?
Yeah.
We could see through walls and see there was another Asian comedian.
Use Asian
Right.
comedy radar.
And then we're like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
And you bleeped.
Yeah, and we're bleeped. Bing, bing. It was a false positive. It was a false positive. But we found you, and then I was like, oh, this guy looks cool. You know, I felt that you were paying attention to what you were wearing, but not like a fashion way.
Well, I gravitated towards Brian
Right.
because we both dressed disastrously back then.
We both like were coming from like our office jobs.
Yeah,
I feel like
we
and,
had
like
the
go doing
H&M
these
thing.
open mics.
Yeah.
We dressed the same. And you had really short hair.
You had
Yeah,
short hair. You
I
had
had
really short
short
hair.
hair.
Now you have
Yeah.
now you have quite long, beautiful hair. But
Yeah.
like I remember, I was like, oh, I gotta be friends with this guy. I liked your comedy. You're very nice, and that was cool.
I was also very shy back then.
You were
I was,
fairly
like-
shy.
Yeah.
I was shy. I'm just like, I don't know. Like everything, I got overwhelmed at everything. And so I would just like shut down and then just
Yeah.
be like, hi. Anytime I talked to anybody, it was like awkward or
Do you
whatever.
remember what you were even joking about?
Yeah. What was your jokes about?
That's a really good
Because I know your
question.
jokes now, but
They're not.
But
I think back.
But you're a different person, dude.
Yeah, I am trying. I think it was a lot about like my family, like my
Yeah.
parents.
I think I remember like Arizona jokes and stuff.
It was
like
Arizona, maybe
Yeah.
like some like college. It was weird. I don't remember.
that. Mm.
Yeah.
Maybe
Do
I
you-
was like,
Do you look back on those times and like, is it like a dark time or was it just like?
This is
Whatever.
where you were. In
it
your
was
journey.
kind of. It wasn't dark. It was, some of the spaces were dark. Was-
like the creek of the cave, physically dark.
Like
physically
can't see
dark.
anything. Bar. Yeah,
Going
yeah,
to
yeah.
like a bar at the West Village at like 4 p.m. on a Sunday. That's a dark
Oh my
place
god,
to
yeah,
be.
for sure.
But I'm also afraid to get like a 23andMe DNA test because like
Oh, what?
I bet I am like full blown like Asian, you know?
This dude is Taiwanese.
And it's gonna ruin your whole like native thing you got
I
going on
want it.
right
I'm
now.
like, oh no. And then the 23andMe
I've been
is,
living
oh, it
a
says I'm
lie.
straight. Oh no. Like, oh fuck.
I'm just like, damn, I have to like go circle back to like everything. I'm like doing like
Cut your hair.
yeah.
You have to get rid of the leather jacket.
H&M,
Yeah,
yeah.
H&M.
Yeah. When did you like start talking more about like being indigenous and kind of like opening about everything else in your life? You know,
did
something click?
Yeah, I think it's because I just got more comfortable on stage, and I was like, because I was fighting that urge early on, I think, because I was like, I know my joke writing isn't there yet, but I do want to talk about these things, but I couldn't. I knew it wasn't going to be good, and I knew if I bombed with it enough, I would lose confidence to actually keep talking about it.
I think that's a smart way to do it, because I think a lot of like Asian comedians or whatever, they'll be, I want to talk about this thing. They go and they try to talk about it. They don't have this. They're not up there yet, and then they like fuck up with it. And then two things happen. Like they lose confidence, but then other people will be like, "Oh, that's such a hack thing."
Yeah,
right? You know what I'm saying? So, but I think it's smart for you to wait. You have the good instinct to like, I'm gonna wait until I'm a little better.
Because I feel like if I do like flip through an old notebook, or like I think I found something on my computer from like 2012, 2013 or something. It wasn't even like a joke, but it was just like me like journaling, sadly. And then I'm like, wait, this is actually like kind of funny. I forget what it is I was talking about, but it was like deep, but like funny. It was like something that I would talk about now.
But you know what's weird is like, so back then, you know, we had our Asian Raider up, and we're like, Brian Bahe is Asian. Bahe must be Japanese because consonant vowel. Bahe, Abe, Bahe, whatever. But we also wanted to claim you because there were so few Asian comedians.
There were so
like,
few.
We need Brian. You're
part of the team now.
You're part of the team.
You're still part of the team. I don't care. But
I don't know. I wasn't invited to that hangout either.
Would I get invited to a hangout? I swear to God, you would be there. You would be at that hangout, and then I'm just on Instagram, just like, what the hell?
But it's funny. It is funny to be like, Arin saying the photographer.
Yeah.
He was photographing like what was it, the Asian Comedy Festival or something?
Yeah.
He's like, so are you doing that? And I'm like, no. And he's like, why not? And I'm like, because.
Is this something you've always had?
You have a joke about passing as Asian. Do you have other just like random stories?
Literally,
like
okay. I was at there's this like gay space called $3 Bill, which is in Brooklyn. They had a lot of like outdoor like dance parties or whatever.
Yeah.
I was there one night. Bo and Yang was there, and we were just kind of like, there was like a bunch of other comedians there, so we were kind of like all like in a group, but it's like there was like a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And then at one point somebody comes up to me, like this like white dude. He's pretty drunk, but like he comes up and he's like, "Are you Bo and Yang?"
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
I fully have long hair. This was like a month ago.
You don't look anything like
and
Bowen.
And then I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh yes!
And then he's like, "I love your work."
Oh my God!
And I was like, "Thank you."
Follow me at Brian Bahe.
Follow me at Brian Bahe.
I did tell Bowen that, and he was like, "I'm sorry that happened to you." I'm like, damn.
Well, you know, it's interesting because, you know, earlier we were talking about like, oh, if you do Asian material, people might think it's hack or whatever. I would even argue that because I don't even think I know other Native American comedians.
I mean, there's
it's like
few.
So like, what do you, I don't even know what a hack Native American joke is because I don't hear any at all. You know what I mean?
Should I invent that?
Do it. Do the fucking, you know, you're Native American if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just do that. And
if you wear a leather jacket.
Yeah, if you wear a leather jacket, if you're a deep horse.
To a gay wedding.
Yeah. I want to hear it.
It's like so specific.
Yeah. Are there like Native American comedians you look up to or like are close to? Like, I don't even.
There's a lot. I feel like the pandemic, like really when we were forced to go online and then like really just like connect with people.
Yeah.
That's how I found out about a lot of comedians, like other
like
Native comedians. There's Jackie Kalei is in like Oakland, and she did like this.
Oh, that's cool.
She did this like thing called like Good Medicine, which was like a huge outdoor show in July at this like Shakespeare Theater, and it was like me, her, this comedian from New Mexico named Adrian Chelapa, a guy named Mark Yaffe who's like in Nevada, and then a comedian. Damn, she's in LA. I forget her name. Whatever.
There's like one from each state.
Yeah.
That's really crazy. You have to like a summit.
One of each people.
From
each people.
That's really crazy.
And and
how was that?
Like, it was fun as hell. I was like worried because I'm like, are they gonna get? And I was like, are my jokes too Brooklyn first of all?
Yeah.
And then it's like, are they not native enough? You know?
Yeah.
So I feel sometimes, but then like it was like good. It went well.
Was it a native audience?
No. Yes and no.
Okay.
It was like 50% native and then 50% like allies. I would feel.
I kind of feel that's kind of like our show.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can? Did you feel like you could like really get super niche,
specific with your?
Because like the other day we had a show. We were doing our Hack City show and then Fumi made a joke about how he holds chopsticks like a baby. And this one guy was dying, and we were just like ran with it. And we were just like talking about how to hold your chopsticks like a baby. And the crowd was just loving it. And we were just like, no one outside of this room would get what we're talking about.
Like it's you make fun of people who can't hold their chopsticks.
They can't hold their chopsticks.
But that's like a very...
That's very because I probably hold it like that too.
Yes. Yeah. You probably do. You probably also hold it like a baby. But, that's just an example. Do you feel like there's... because sometimes I feel like if I'm in the right crowd, I can almost joke not about anything, but I'm like, I'm going to pull this deep cut out and people are going to love it because they never have heard this before. Yeah, deep cuts.
I feel like I'm always a little bit, this is what I'm trying to work on as a comedian, I guess, is like just like trusting that they'll follow you.
Yeah.
Even if they might not know exactly what it is you're talking about. And that way, because I don't do that. My inclination is to not do that. I used to always play it safe. Play to the bottom of people's intelligence. I'm like, everyone in this audience is a dumbass. Let me like really spell it out for them. Yeah. But it'd be cool to like not have to worry about that and just be like, hey, let me talk about something about like
we're all waiting.
Fry bread.
Yo, damn!
I didn't even get that, but I get what you're talking about.
Holy shit!
But I like it. I'm already
Brian Bahe with the fried bread memes. I do want to know. What was it like growing up? You're from Arizona.
I'm from Arizona. Was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, which is like a city in Arizona.
We know.
We've heard that. That's not that deep cut. That's not a deep cut. That's not a fried bread cut. We know Phoenix. Yeah.
But I was surrounded by like dozens of like my cousins. My mom is like one of 8 children. My dad is one of 9 children.
Fuck off.
Okay. So I have like countless uncles and aunts and then cousins and then. So I was just like surrounded by them, and then like I went to like this Catholic middle school and high school. So like it was kind of like a weird dichotomy of like growing up like in like an ultra native environment, and then also this like non-native environment at the same time.
Were your parents like trying to get you to appreciate your background and heritage like that, or were they just trying to get you to assimilate?
I think they were a little bit of both. Okay. I think like when they wanted me to assimilate, they would I don't know. I feel like when they wanted me to pay attention and like learn about my background, it was always when I didn't want to do it. They're like, let's go like let's go like to the reservation like during the summer or something, and I'm just like, I just want to fucking be at a pool.
I want to skateboard.
So I was like a bratty child at like.
So I know that in the intro I named like 3 tribes. Is it because your parents are mixed? I also I think Fawn, our producer, said an outline. You can only register under 1 or something like that.
Yeah,
is that true?
Yeah, in like the U.S., you can only register under 1, which is kind of like.
So can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, what's your family background and like what do you register under?
So my mom is Hopi and Otham.
Okay.
And the Otham tribe is like this tribe that's on the southern part of Arizona. It kind of goes into Mexico a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And then Hopi is like northern Arizona, and then my dad's Navajo, which is just like a northern Arizona tribe. A lot of us are out there.
Is there is that like a fairly typical thing for like there to be mixing of the different like tribes and stuff?
Do they talk shit about each other like Asians?
Yeah, do you guys do? Oh my god,
they actually
all know about these Hopis. You know what I'm saying? They're so angry.
Do. Everyone's like Hopis are short.
Oh, is that
and
what?
slow.
Oh, yeah. Hit me with the fried bread. Hit me with the fried bread.
But I'm like, damn. But I'm also like, yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm like, damn.
I love this.
Yeah. Oh my god.
What are Navajos known for?
Yeah, what are Navajos known for?
Navajo was in my textbook.
You know what
I've heard of Navajo.
Yeah, they're always dressing in Balenciaga, something like that. Hit me with that.
Navajos are always like at Walmart.
I don't know which one is which. I don't know.
Oh, is that at Walmart?
Meanwhile, I'm
like a
short.
good deal?
Yeah, and at Walmart a lot.
Yeah, you're at Walmart a lot. Okay, that's tight. So so like let's just say on like if my parents were wanting to get like real Vietnamese on a weekend, right? Like on let's say it's a Saturday, I'm maybe in like middle school or high school, and we would go. Let's see, what's our tradition? We like go to like dim sum, right?
Yeah.
Because like we kind of got that from Chinese people, and it's some good shit. We would go to the Vietnamese grocery store. We wouldn't usually go to a Catholic, we're Catholic also, so like we would go to just like a regular white people mass, but there's Vietnamese mass. We would hang out in Little Saigon, right? And like Vietnamese food, Vietnamese groceries.
This is the Bay Area we're talking about.
This
right?
is in Orange County. County,
okay.
and that's like a real Vietnamese experience. I go to the Asian Garden Mall, like walk around, maybe buy a suit for only $50. You know, some cheap shit like that. My mom would endlessly haggle about jade with like some jeweler, right? That's
Hell
like a very Vietnamese experience. Is there like what's the equivalent move? You know what I'm saying? You're eating fry bread. You're at Walmart. What are you doing? You know?
You're eating fry bread. You're probably calling all your like your family members, being like, "Hey, whose backyard is clean?" Like,
Really? For a party or just
yeah,
like cleanliness?
just like a hang.
Oh, okay.
It's
Do you guys
like-
like barbecue? Is that a barbecue? Is it
It's
a
like a
barbecue?
It's like a food situation. Everyone's like loves to cook, but no one wants to do it really.
Yeah.
Because it's
Hopies,
like
right?
if we cook,
Hopies.
Fucking
yeah,
classic,
because it's like
classic Hopi move.
because if you agree to cook, it's like you're cooking for like,
For, like,
50, 60
oh,
people,
fuck,
and it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
fuck, should I do this? Do I
Yeah.
really want to do this? But it's like going over to somebody's place, just eating, and then talking.
Is there Hennessy?
You know what?
Is there choice of alcohol?
Yeah. Is
There, I feel like, all right, my family's like very straight edge, so I think there
Okay,
is. I think
yeah.
it's like beer.
Okay.
Like any type of beer.
Yeah.
Not my family, but just like other native people.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
That's
don't know.
So did you like? I think I read that you would go to the reservations like over the summers or like on the weekends to see your grandparents or something like that.
Yeah, I would go during the summer.
Okay, I don't know. I'm very stupid. I don't know anything about reservations. Like, can I get in? Like, what is it like? What's the vibe, dude?
The vibe is, yeah, you can for sure get it.
I can just
Yeah.
drive in.
You probably get in like you'd like live there if you wanted to.
Oh really? I
I
don't know.
feel
Like
like it-
I don't really understand. Like I don't.
Is it like
you know-
mad destitute there? Is it just like
It's just
there's
like
no
it's
re-
so
what,
it's
like-
very rural. At least
Okay.
the ones in Arizona, just like based on the Arizona landscape, which is like
Yeah.
very flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like there's like not a lot of like vegetation or whatever.
Yeah.
Unless you go like further up north. It's like it's rural. Like there's paved roads, but the roads aren't well maintained,
Maintained, yeah.
Okay.
and then there's a lot of like dirt road situations. So yeah, you could just go, but like you also need to know like where the gas stations are, otherwise you'll probably get stranded.
Yeah.
And people live out there. There's schools out there. It's like a whole community.
It's like a whole community, yeah. Families, schools, hospitals are like fewer and far between, but you kind of like they are there. And
And also there's like a Walmart, like one Walmart.
there's like one Walmart. All the fucking Navajos are there. It's not even their reservation, but they're still there.
Yeah. We're actually from Mississippi, and it just rolled up. That's tight. I mean, well, I don't know if that's tight, but like, I was like kind of like you. I didn't want to do any of the Vietnamese things. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to just like sit around and like watch TV.
Yeah.
I was like a shitty kid. You know. What
I
I'm
feel
saying? And
like-
now I'm like, oh, this is awesome. But
I did like it. It's just like when I went, no one went with me. Like I would go, but then I would go by myself.
And you know, any friends there? Or anything.
Yeah, like none of my cousins were there, none of my friends were there, and I was like, oh, and then I'm like, oh wait, I'm here for like a month.
Oh
and then
shit!
Yeah.
What do you do?
I would like watch TV,
Huh?
Yeah. Is,
a lot of VH1.
is there that's very native, I guess. Is it looked down upon for a family to sort of like move out of the reservation? Because I know like your family did not live on a reservation. Your
Yeah.
immediate family, right? Like, is that move sort of a big deal, or is it just like?
I feel like it doesn't really matter now. I feel like it's depending on wherever you live. It's just like do your thing, kind of. I don't think it's really looked down upon.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're like not like a bum or whatever, then
Yeah.
it's like everyone's like, all right, cool,
Mm.
do you.
Guys, if you're listening to this podcast, or honestly, Anos, if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, we have a YouTube channel, by the way, you're probably wondering, God damn, why does Fumi and Mike look so good all the time? Their hair is perfect, especially Mike, and honestly, I bet they smell so good, I kind of want to take a whiff of their armpits. Well, if you're feeling that way, I'll tell you why we look and smell that way. It is because of Hawthorne. Hawthorne is a premium men's grooming brand that makes it quick and easy to be confidently your best with skincare and hair care made just for you. They use data from hundreds of thousands of customers to recommend perfect products for your body chemistry, skin type, hair type, and lifestyle. First, take Hawthorne's quiz. They ask me things like, how often do I shower? If you're white, I think that's like once a month. You know, what kind of quality is my skin? Is it dry? Is it oily? What kind of drinks do I like? Do I smoke? what is my ideal dinner date, all that stuff like that. I ended up getting the essential bundle, and it came with things like work cologne, play cologne, stain-free deodorant, foaming shave gel, sensitive body wash, and clarifying shampoo. Let them recommend a face cleanser, so lean on Hawthorne to upgrade your body wash, shampoo, and deodorant. Hawthorne stands by the customer, so if you're not completely satisfied, they'll retailer your products for free based on your feedback and pay for the shipping. So there's truly no risk. So make sure you're ready for anything or anyone that comes your way by taking Hawthorne's quiz today. Go to hawthorne.co and use promo code NOTAsian to get 10% off your first purchase. That's HAWTHORNE.co, promo code NOTAsian. Hawthorne.co, promo code NOTAsian.
Listen, Mike, you know me on the podcast, I like to laugh like an insane person, spread joy through jokes and inappropriate comments, but is that how I feel on the inside in 2020? Absolutely not, Mike.
No, man.
It's a dark mess in here, dude. Sometimes I'm really sad, sometimes I'm a little depressed, I'm really stressed, and I think a lot of people with the pandemic, they're not really sure about job security, and that's a huge source of stress for a lot of people. And I think if any of our listeners feel this way, they should check out our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist.
Connect in a safe and private online environment. It's so convenient.
You can start communicating in under 24 hours.
This isn't self-help, it's professional counseling.
Send a message to your counselor anytime.
You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions.
Woo! All without ever having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. You know how those waiting rooms can be, bro.
BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if you need it.
And it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available.
Licensed professional counselors who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, and self-esteem.
I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/Asian. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Asian.
We've talked a lot about on here. There's, Vietnamese people were fairly political in a bad way because a lot of Vietnamese people like Trump. And so my parents were, a lot of Vietnamese people like Trump. So there's a whole thing. But, I feel like we're at least politically aware, a lot of Vietnamese people, just because of, a lot of us were refugees. We're kind of like keep our, we kind of keep our cards close to us as far as knowing what's going on, I think, because of everything that's happened and with the war and everything like that. And so we kind of like keep tabs, I guess you could say, right? So is there a similar thing? Do people are like, was your family and your community, was there like a political thread going through there of like, like these fucking white people fucked us up so bad, you know what I'm saying? Or is it like, you know what? All right, we're going to watch VH1, and just live our lives, is there anything like that?
I feel like my parents were like quietly political. They never like really forced anything on us, which was like a little bit confusing because I'm like, who am I like going for in this election? Even though I wasn't really voting, I'm like, who should we like be kind of like rallying around? But yeah, they are anti-Trump, which is cool. But yeah, so they were kind of like under their radar, and then but also it's like Arizona's just like, it used to be so like red state, so conservative that I think it was kind of like a little bit. I feel like at that time I would have been scared to like be like no, like to be like anti-Republican in that
sure.
Like, outwardly
to be like outwardly anti-Republican because I'm like, is something gonna happen?
Yeah.
It's like an open carry state.
Yeah, it's an open carry state.
People are walking around with like guns and shit, and I'm just like, I'm like, I'm Republican.
Yeah, hey, Bernie's Bernie's a good guy, and he just people capping you, That's crazy.
Well, I wanted to, we wanted to have you on because we want to talk about Reservation Dogs, dude.
Hell
Reservation Dogs.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, it's an amazing show on FX. It's available on Hulu. Here's a little quick synopsis. I guess it's Reservation Dogs is a comedy television series created by Sterling Harjo and Taika Waititi. It is a notable first that it features all indigenous writers and directors along with an almost entirely indigenous American cast and production team.
Wow.
Which is amazing. I didn't know about the production team.
Yeah, that's cool.
Everybody was
I think that's great.
of indigenous descent
that's wild.
in the thing. As far as I'm concerned, I think it might be the first like normal TV show about Native American. I've never seen like a sitcom or anything
where it's like
that.
really centered around like
Native
their
people.
Native
Native
people,
people,
like
yeah.
they're from their experience.
Yeah.
There
And it's
was
a
like
comedy.
Rutherford Falls, which was on
Mm.
Peacock in April, I think.
Mm.
Or Peacock.
I feel like that was
I mean,
that was I feel like that was the first because that one was like full blown. Well, Ed Helms was on it, but
Right.
so Native.
It helps. So native. He's
Native
always,
icon Ed
always at
Helms.
Walmart. Yeah.
Well, in Reservation Dogs, it's like it's so funny. 'Cause I was looking at the cast, and they'll have really long Native American names, and I think
Yeah.
it says Bill Burr.
yeah.
Bill Burr's
And Bill Burr's in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good. It's really good. I've seen like 4 episodes of it, and it's just like I don't know. I feel I've obviously this is not my life or whatever, but it's just cool to see these like young actors. They're all funny. It's like it's like funny, and there's a drama, and then they have this like recurring thing where he's having like the main character. He's having a vision of this like warrior who's like keeps talking to him, and the warrior's
Yeah.
like hilarious. And
So good.
He's
It's
like
so
the
good.
antithesis of the crazy horse, right?
Yeah.
'Cause there's so many times I think in film and TV, you just if there's an Indian guy or Native American guy, he's on a horse and it's crazy horse and he gets shot or whatever the fuck. But in this one, this warrior's like kind of out of shape. He's stealing. He's like kind of doing all the kinds of stuff. So it was really cool. I mean, I think
Against type.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was really cool.
and also like
yeah.
it was just such a like. Yeah, I mean, I guess like I would never say this is interesting only because it's about Native Americans, but it definitely is because it's like a story I've never heard before, and also it's very 3-dimensional in that like it wasn't really about them being Native American. It was just really about like these kids who live on this reservation,
Yeah.
and like how shitty their life can be.
It's just
at
like
such a young age.
yeah.
Yeah, what that show does like so well is like it's so funny, but it's also like it does the thing that like where like an episode ends and you're like you like feel like physically different in
Yeah,
a way.
yeah.
It like leaves
Yeah.
you like emotionally like on a different like level. I feel like, which
Yeah.
is like so hard to do with a comedy because it's like you can do jokes and shit, but then it's like there's also this like very like I don't know what the word is, but it's like not dramatic, but it's like something shifted. Like the
Right.
writing or the directing or just like something, the way that they told the story was so good that you're like, yeah, it was funny, but it's also just like I feel like I enriched by like having seen this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
You
TV.
do feel like the show, it's funny, but if you kind of like look at what's happening, these kids, they're poor. The whole thing starts off with, they used to have a friend and he died, and they said that the reservation killed him, right? And so there's this underlying thing where there's a lot of like despair, because like of whatever thing, like they want to leave because they're like, well, the reservation will kill us. And despite that, there's like all these, they have a lot of hope and all these things, but they kind of know they're up against a lot of forces.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have cousins that like grew up on the reservation. It's not ideal. There's a lot that like is again like it's like schools aren't good. There's like not a lot of like access to like opportunities and like shit like that, and it's just like and it's like there's a lot. If you're growing up on the reservation, it's like you have a lot to overcome.
Right.
Also, I should point out I have nothing to do with the show.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
I would
We're
love,
just fans. We're
I
just
would love
fans.
to, but
Yeah. Oh, real quick, I researched that they are the people in the show. They are from the Muskogee Nation.
is that in Oklahoma?
It
Yeah.
is. Any dirt on the Muskogee tribe?
Yeah,
No,
what
I
are
know
these
it's
guys at? Huh? Come on, are they always at Chevys? Huh? Something
They're
like
actually,
that.
they're always
Always ordering fajitas.
breaking their pinky toe.
Classic Muskogee.
Yeah.
This is something we wanted to ask you about because on this podcast we talk a lot about Asian representation, and I feel despite the fact that there's a lot of sub-ethnic groups within like the Asian community, like I'm Japanese and Mike is Vietnamese, there is sort of a unified bond when I see an Asian American person. By that I mean somebody who grew up here, was called Ching Chong, whatever, went through all that shit. The same thing we all did. Like a Steven Yeun, and so there's a lot of, we see things like that. It's cool for us. And I was wondering if, first of all, this is produced by Taika Waititi. He's not even American. He's
Maori.
He's indigenous.
Yeah,
but
he's indigenous.
Maori,
He's like,
right. So there's the fact that like, it's made by a guy who's not really from here. Also, Muskogee, not necessarily your tribe. I was wondering for Native Americans, when it comes to representation, Are you at the point where you're just like, I just need to see
Just
a brown
indigenous
face?
folks together,
or like, is it like, unless I see a half Navajo, half Hopi guy,
Yeah.
that's nothing for me.
Fuck
You
this.
know what?
I
mean, I don't know.
I feel like everybody loves it. Everybody, like my cousins and aunts, like they're like posting about it on social. They love
there
the
you go.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like a big win for Native people because
Yeah.
it is kind of like, even though we are spread out all over the country, it's like there is like an underlying kind of just like experience to like what it's like to grow up on a reservation, what it's like to like be Native in America, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like a lot of the actors are from Canada, you know, and so there's like this whole thing.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're
Wait,
a lot of
maybe
them
I
are
didn't
from,
know that.
Yeah, they're from a lot of them from Canada. I mean, they're you know from indigenous peoples there.
Yeah.
So I feel there's like this kind of, you know, hey, have you ever had your culture wiped out? This is the show for you. You know, like you know, is there? I feel like
Right.
that's like a thing.
And then it's like just having to be a kid and like dealing with that
Right.
when like you really are like powerless against
Right.
everything a little bit.
Do you feel is there a thing where you know, because Taika Waititi, he's Maori, right? And that, you know, that's a people like an indigenous people. Do you feel, is there like a pan indigenous thing? Because sometimes for, you know, Fumi and I, we often talk about Asian American and we usually rep that, but then like it goes out and like Canadians will like kind of understand what we're talking about,
Australian
and
Asians,
sometimes
yeah.
Australian Asians, and sometimes people who are just like, they're like, you know, Malaysian, but they went to university in Manchester, and people will be like, those people, like that's a greater like Western Asian
Diaspora.
yeah, like diaspora
Yeah.
thing. Like that's sort of like the
Damn.
biggest audience we, you know, if we really wanted to. It's not like you know, me and the, you know, Malaysian dude who lives in Australia like see perfectly eye to eye, but we do have some like commonality. Is there like any commonality across like different indigenous groups like around the world?
Like white people are evil.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I feel like that. Like that's kind of it.
That's a big one.
That's a big
That's
one.
a big
That's a
one.
big one.
Yeah, and then I don't know.
I mean, personally, like when you saw that this was, you know, made by Taika Waititi, like,
That's cool.
is that cool for you, or is it just like did it even matter the fact that he was Maori? You know what I mean?
No, that is cool.
It's important.
Okay.
I
That's
feel like he's like
important.
one of us for sure.
Yeah.
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 Well, he's
Okay.
always been repping the.
He
his-
reps.
He was
Yeah.
repping. He honestly, I like found out about all that shit like through him because I liked his movies growing up, and
Right.
And he's always like talking about that because we don't really learn about that shit in school.
Because also I think I mean like without him it wouldn't have been possible. It
Right.
sounds like
Right.
so. And I feel like I heard this on like a podcast or I read about it or something, but like him and the creator Sterling Harjo were like they go back like way they were like
They're friends from- yeah,
and
yeah.
so they just kind of like bonded over I guess like commonalities between their experiences growing up on like in like indigenous land or whatever.
Yeah, I can't believe. So like in an interview, Taika Waititi was on like Kimmel or something, and he joked. He was like, "Yeah, it's a you know, comedy show about 4 Native American kids who live in a reservation, and it's like the first one, and it only took him 600 years to make it." And we're like, "Ha ha ha!" And I'm like, "Wait a second, it really did take 600 years."
Yeah.
It's such a crazy like I don't know what other shows are like this really, you know.
Yeah. It's wild.
Um,
It's like what is I feel like nobody it's just like nobody trusted that anybody wanted to see Native people.
Yeah.
I feel like even like
doing
less so
anything.
than Asians. I
Oh,
feel.
yeah, for
you know what I mean?
sure.
Like Asian people, we barely get a shot, but I feel I don't even know for a long time if Native stories were even in the conversation.
I feel
you
like
know?
it's because I don't know where I heard this, but
Is it too sad?
it's like yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
it's
like when
very
people
sad.
see Native people on screen or just like anywhere, they automatically are like reminded that like oh yeah, there was
We
like
did some shit.
huge like
Yeah.
murder vibes.
Yep. Murder vibes. Oh man, these
associated
murder vibes. I
with
need
this
some
person.
crystals for these murder
Yeah.
vibes.
And so it's just like they're like, I don't want to like be reminded of that. So let's
Yeah.
kind of just like, in a way, just like silence them and just kind of like make sure that we don't have to like look at them or hear from them because then that will make us feel
Think
bad
about
or
it.
something.
That's a great point. I think on top of the fact that I think for Hollywood for a long time said, oh, they don't want to see black women, they don't want to hear Asians, they don't want to hear Latinx stories. I think behind all that is that fuel of like, I don't want to be reminded, because if I give you the green light, you're gonna talk about how we're evil. Right?
Exactly.
If you had a TV show, you are gonna have an episode about like weird white people experience you had, right?
So much.
And it's gonna make them feel weird, and I feel like that definitely was like a top reason why they didn't have any stories like that for like 600 fucking years.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. And now it's like actually happening, and it's like, okay.
You're the most chill comedian. Oh
You're so chill. You're so underrated.
like
yeah.
representation.
Oh
okay.
man, there were murder vibes.
Okay.
These murder vibes are like totally not me.
There are a
you
couple
know?
of things in the show that I wanted to ask you about. You may not know, but they use the word shit ass a lot.
Yeah.
Is that like a slang in that community? Like I've never heard that before.
Okay, as far as I know, no. I think that might be just like something very specific to them as like a friend group or something.
Okay.
Probably like the writers, probably.
Okay.
What is the deal with the owl eyes?
Oh, okay. That is so funny. I didn't know, because in my tribe, specifically Thanaotham, like owls are like bad. It's like
Okay.
you see an owl that's like bad.
Oh really?
Bad luck.
And so
like you can even just see
not
one
even
is bad.
I don't know if it's bad luck or it's just like bad in general, but it's like if you see an owl, it's like, oh shit,
Okay.
something bad might happen or something.
Oh shit.
And so I didn't realize that was like every like an every
guess
tribe
a
type
lot
of
of
thing.
yeah.
But then there's an episode where they blur out the owl statue or whatever.
Yeah.
They pixelate it, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so funny!" Because I'm like I don't know if anybody gets this.
No,
but like,
I didn't
it's
get it at
so
all.
funny.
Yeah. we were. I mean, I got it because I was like, I YouTubed it. I was like, what's going on here? And there were and like how the kids don't want to look at the owl and like
Yeah.
they blurred out the eyes and stuff like that. It's like a super a deep cut. It's like a fry bread of
Yeah.
whatever this is. Yeah.
Yeah, I lost my mind. And maybe that's why I should go deep cut in comedy, because it's like, yeah, maybe not everybody will get it, but one person will lose their mind over
Yes,
this.
yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, and then here's the thing is that, laughter is contagious, because once I knew that was a thing, I wanted to be in the in-group. And I was like, I want to also be afraid of owls.
And then you looked it up.
And I was like, I looked it up and I was like, this is hilarious.
And
it's
now
just,
the next time you see an owl like in a native context or something, you'll be
fuck
like,
that.
oh, this is why it's
this
funny.
is super bad. Yeah, exactly.
Damn. Wait, this is like educational. Holy shit.
Right,
Yeah.
you've been hanging out with white people too much.
You
dude.
got to hang out with the Asians.
With the
and
Asians
we're,
where you belong.
We're real proud of repping zojurushi and rice cookers and all sorts of
Yeah.
chopsticks and stuff like that.
Let me into the Asian Comedy Festival.
Here's a question too. Do you speak the languages?
No, I bought. My dad speaks Navajo fluently. My mom doesn't speak any of her tribe's languages, but I did buy. What's the app?
Duolingo.
Yeah, they have.
They got that shit
they have
for Navajo?
They have
Fuck
Navajo
off,
on
are you
Duolingo,
serious?
and I'm like,
Whoa.
That's fucking weird.
I
man.
started it, and I'm like, damn, I forgot how hard it is to like learn shit.
Did you grow up speaking it at all or anything? like
No,
that?
I grew up like I knew words and stuff,
Yeah.
and I was like pretty good about that. But then it
What
just
does
kind
it
of like
sound
faded
like?
away. It's sort of like
This
Oh.
sound like.
this is a common
Okay, what does that mean?
nothing, but
It's
it's,
just
just
a
like
sound.
You're just saying the N word.
it's just like a it's just
Shit
like
ass.
one of the most common sounds. I feel like you have to
How do
do.
you say like dog or something or what? I don't know.
Oh,
say one.
I want to say
noun.
dog is like che.
Huh.
Okay.
That's off. That's wrong.
I want our
That's
Navajo
our
speakers to come
sure.
in here,
Yeah.
fill our DMs with angry messages about
Yeah.
Bahrain.
Bahe that's Navajo last name?
Bahe is it's my dad's last name. I don't know if it's Navajo though. What is I think my grandpa did have like a straight up like, I think he was like Many Mule's grandson. Like that's kind of
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah.
and it's just like, it was one of those names where it's like, it's just like that's how they associate you with like your environment or whatever. And then somebody's like, that's your name now. And it's like,
Whoa.
okay.
Do you have a native name?
No.
I know you have a joke about it.
Yeah.
Chipotle bathroom code.
Right.
That's your joke. It's so funny.
That's
Totally bathroom code.
I don't, but I'm like, I really toyed around with the idea this summer of changing my name to Miami.
Really?
Miami?
Yeah.
The city?
Like full blown Miami. Yeah. The
How
city.
come?
For
Why?
reasons
Just like-
unrelated to
Just to I'm like, my vibe is Miami now.
Yeah.
Miami Bahe.
Miami Bahe.
Now you sound like an expensive cocktail.
And now I'm like,
Yeah.
I think the moment passed, but there was a period, like a solid 2 months where I was like, when I can, I'm going to go into the court or whatever and be like, I'm going to change my name to Miami Bahe. But my stage name would still be Brian.
Your what name?
My stage
Oh,
name.
stage name.
Oh, that's an
Yeah.
interesting inversion because usually stage names are more interesting than the regular names.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like Miami Bahe.
He's about subverting expectations.
But he goes by Brian.
Oh my god.
Which like it's kind of fire.
So maybe if I had to give myself like an actual like dead serious like indigenous name, it would be Miami.
It is. I notice sometimes in the show the spirit, like he'll say stuff and then he'll like whoop. He'll like do a whooping sound.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Is that like
that a thing?
is like a chill thing you guys do? Chill whooping vibes, you know?
I feel like that's a very like, like
Yeah.
though that wasn't it, but
Yeah.
that's a very like.
I can't imagine you doing it to you, Brian. You're so chill that like,
Impersonate like a warrior,
Yeah.
you know. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like that's how like I feel like that's very like drunk native.
ah,
That's like something they would
Ooh.
do.
that's tight.
Yeah.
We get drunk and just start whooping. That's
Yeah.
And they
tight.
just do impressions of warriors.
Oh,
That's better than like being racist, you know?
I guess,
That's nice. Yeah.
I mean, I know me and my boys get drunk. We just start like posing in front of a Tesla. You know what I'm saying? That's like our thing. That's equivalent, I guess, for y'all.
What was that? What did you guys make of that character, the twins who were like rappers?
Oh yeah,
And rap seems to be a big motif in the thing, like hip hop culture.
Right.
There's even an episode
Right.
where like his dad is a rapper, but he's rapping about his reservation. And
Yeah.
Is that like I don't know anything about it. It could just be that show. Maybe they did it for comedic effects, but like is hip hop culture and or just maybe like Black American things in general? Is it like somehow intertwined in modern?
I feel like yeah.
With,
I feel like okay. So I feel like rap and like anything that's like non-white culture, like that's kind of like what brown people kind of like brown kids or whatever had to like latch onto. They're like, well, I don't really identify
Yeah.
with like these white like this
that's
white
such a good point.
shit.
Yeah,
And so it's like, let me gravitate towards like this other thing. And so I feel like there is a lot of like rap influence. Back when like, especially back when like music was so just like, you had to pick one or the other, you know? It's like
Yeah.
no one listened to everything.
I was-
it's like you gotta
I was-
listen
yes.
to rap. It's like
Yes.
I only listen to rap.
Yes, it was so racialized when I was growing up. It was if you listen, either you listen to hip hop or you listen to what at the time was called alternative.
Yeah.
And if you listen to alternative, you're white. And
Right.
What's
all the-
alternative?
alternative
like
is-
Lifehouse.
No, it's like
like Nirvana.
Nirvana. Yeah, exactly. Like
Alternative rock.
alternative rock.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
so it was like like that. And it was very racialized. It was like there was like one or two Asian kids who listened to alternative and like wore Vans. You know, like,
Right,
and
right.
They were like, "Oh, look at this!
was
You're
me.
trying to be white." Yeah, exactly. It's Fumi. You know, and everybody else was like, we all listened to like Tupac and shit like that.
Exactly.
It was
yeah.
very like that.
So I feel like
yeah.
that's kind of what happened, and then that like yeah, and then just like native kids kind of just like, well, yeah, I listen to rap. Let me rap,
Yo.
or at least attempt to rap.
Last
Yeah.
question from me about like there was a whole thing where they talk about one of their uncles is real tradish.
Yeah.
Like what does that mean exactly?
I mean, being traditional, I feel like is just kind of like you do everything in the same way that like the generation before you, or even like a couple generations before you did stuff. So it's like you kind of
You're using dial-up. You're
using dial-up. You still have a Nokia.
yeah.
You know, you
the
love
block
Snake.
phone. Yeah.
Very Navajo.
Very
Yeah.
not very
Yeah.
tradish.
It actually is very Navajo.
The Nokia.
Yeah.
I can imagine that.
Just kidding.
This is a game we're playing with our good friend Miami Bahe. And we usually play Asian, not Asian with our guests, where
Which
people,
is what game?
which is usually where people, where we name something, and then the guest has to say whether it's Asian or not Asian, and we tell them if they're right or wrong because we know everything. But we're
Okay.
gonna play a different game with Miami. We're gonna play native, not native.
Yes. And these are things you mentioned
Yeah.
we talked about on the podcast today. And you're gonna tell us if it's native or if it's not native, and you have to explain
You
why.
have to explain why.
Okay.
And we will tell you if you're right or wrong because we now know everything about
Yeah.
what it's like to be native.
I love it.
So
Okay.
you can go first.
Here we go. VH1.
VH1.
VH1 is native.
Oh,
as
yeah.
So
fuck,
native.
because they play Shania Twain.
Whoa.
And Shania,
You know what's kind of interesting to me? So
Shania Twain is a country music god.
it's kind of interesting to me. I don't know why this happens because this kind of happens with Vietnamese people too. But like the thing that was like real bad for your people ends up becoming good. So like for example, for Vietnamese people, you would think that would be like kind of not cool with a whole bunch of like
U.S. military stuff, but like we love military shit.
I'm
Oh my
is Shania
God.
Twain native?
So like, well,
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Well,
I think she might be Canadian.
Oh, okay, so I thought you brought it up because I thought there was some lineage I wasn't privy to.
Well,
no,
yeah.
she's just like she's a country music superstar, and Native people love country music.
Oh, okay.
you know, because I wouldn't think that Native people would be down with cowboys, because like cowboys are kind of like the fucking oppressors. You know,
They, in a way, they are, but aren't at the same time. Because it's like,
Mm.
yeah, they were. Cowboys were like shitty, but it's like
Yeah.
natives were also cowboys too, in the same way that it's like,
yeah.
but they just like didn't have the.
That's
war
really-
finding leather jackets.
That's a
Exactly.
really interesting insight, Mike. That the thing that you think they wouldn't be down with, they're down. Because like in Japan, like after the war, like
Yeah.
you know what became really cool? Everyone wanted to dress like punk rock.
Yeah.
Like American jackets.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hair,
American,
like Van Halen.
getting American.
Yeah, the heavy metal hair. They were doing all that shit. Like, yeah, it is. It's
It's
weird.
kinda
just
weird, like
didn't they just
how-
fuck you? And then
Yeah, we just kind of like that.
Yeah.
We like take those things and like we kind of like fetishize them in a weird way. Anyways,
Yeah.
it was an
Or it's just
interesting
like
insight.
reclaiming.
Yeah,
Is it
or like
reclaiming?
I feel like
remixing
maybe
it or
re-
turning it back on
Yeah.
the thing. I thought it was interesting,
that
but
is interesting.
yeah, Vietnamese people can be like, because we're always like in like camo, you know,
Yeah.
we're, like we love camo. I'm serious. Okay, all right. Is this following thing native or not native? Target.
Not native.
Not native.
It's only Walmart.
It's only Walmart.
It's only Walmart.
Whoa.
okay. That
Not
makes
even
sense.
like
Super
what is it?
centers.
Kmart. How about Kmart?
Kmart's actually native.
Okay,
The CEO.
that's
is
where the K
actually-
stands for.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Okay.
Cowboy boots.
Native.
Yeah.
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 How so?
Because they don't have laces, and you can
What?
and you can get them on.
I don't think that's true.
Is that what I think? You don't. Yeah.
Do natives not wear?
You guys don't like? Is it bad luck? I don't know. That would be great. I would love that.
Yeah, no, we wear shoelaces, but
Yeah.
like cowboy boots are like old school. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like you're
Little earthy.
you're like at the sheep camp
Yo.
kind of, and
Yeah.
you're like I don't have time to deal with like shoelaces right now. I need
Fuck these
boots.
shoelaces. Miami, you definitely need cowboy boots. I can't believe you don't have any right now. Okay, how about last one? Because your name's Miami. How, is this following thing native or not native? Pitbull, the singer. Pitbull. Pitbull.
Okay, not native.
Ooh.
We're talking about Mr. Worldwide here.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay,
Worldwide.
I don't know if you were clear. but this-
Mentirosa. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not native just because
He looks
he's always on a
Russian.
boat.
Ah.
He's on a boat.
He is on
He's
a
on a
boat.
boat.
And that's really not
Natives
the medium.
are-
That's
Be-
not the
Yeah.
medium.
and it's
Indigenous
like we
folks.
don't thrive on boats.
Yo, word.
You're horse Asian.
We're
You guys-
ho-
Yeah,
I'm
you're
horse-
land-based.
You're horse Asians.
I'm horse Asian.
Yeah.
It's like I did take a boat to like the Statue of Liberty one time. I got seasick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like at juniors with my family after their words, and they're like, "Why aren't you eating?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I feel weird."
Whoa.
And then they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're seasick," and I was like, "Oh."
we saw an owl, and that's what happened. All right. Well,
That was the game.
That was the game.
Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you? Is just one last thing. I might cut this
Yeah.
out if it's stupid, but like, so I grew up playing lacrosse, and I learned.
yes.
That's where I grew up in Ohio, and there's like all of our teams are named after Native American tribes, which in retrospect that's
it's
so
ridiculous.
fucked
Absolutely
up. Bunch of white
ridiculous.
kids being like, I play for the Iroquois. Like I
Yeah.
swear to God,
That's that. I mean, like, yeah, I can see if I was how people in Ohio would think that's a good idea, though.
oh my God, this is just coming to me now.
Dude,
how
my
it's such a
high school team, my high school mascot was Comanches.
Damn.
What's a,
Yeah,
what's a Comanche?
Comanches.
What's a Comanche?
Maybe that's why we
Is that
Another-
tribe?
yeah,
Oh,
another
okay.
were connected.
We were on problematic sports
Through
teams.
problematic
Yeah.
sports teams. It's crazy because it's like 2021. Well, I guess it's in Orange County, so these people don't give a fuck. But like, I went by the
You're
high
a
school
Comanche in Orange County?
in Orange County. Where are Comanches even from?
That is so random. I don't know, but I know it's not California.
I don't think it's California,
Yeah.
right?
It's like
For
not
sure.
even near California.
It's not even near California.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have like the head of a Comanche on like huge painted on the gym.
Yeah.
And I was like, at the time, in high school, I was like, whatever. And later on, of course, I'm like, what are we doing? You know, it's 2021. We're some fucking Comanches and we're fucking throwing spears and shit. It's like, it makes no sense. Trust me.
Wait, in 2021?
Trust me. Yeah.
Damn.
That's wild. They used to say that to us when we were kids. We're like, oh, lacrosse is an Indian game, but they would kill each other instead. I don't know if that's true. They would like teach kids this. And we're
I feel like I don't know if they would kill each other,
I thought it
but
was
I think it was just a big sport.
It's a sport,
it was probably
right?
just a sport.
They just make it sound so violent. I don't know.
These
I don't
crazy,
know.
you know,
These
that's
crazy-
why we put them on the reservation because
Oh.
they're always.
They're always
yeah.
they're always
I
looking to
swear
take
to
us down a
I'm
peg.
gonna. That's how I'm gonna get canceled. Someone's gonna find like 9-year-old Fumi wearing a jersey that says Choctaw, and I'm literally thriving on the lacrosse field. It's so problematic.
You're-
But,
Yeah,
My
you're like
God.
doing the
All right.
moonwalk
The moonwalk.
in a Comanche
Yeah.
jersey.
Oh my gosh. Well, Brian, thank you so
Brian,
much for doing this
this was
podcast.
Thank you for
Amazing.
having me.
You're
It's
amazing.
a huge pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for withstanding all of our dumb questions. We
No,
had- we
I
had so
loved
many
it.
dumb
Yeah.
questions.
This is fun.
I feel like people need to know, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people need
need
to
to
know. Definitely.
And we hope we do more deep cuts in your comedy.
We want to see more deep cuts.
We'll be
you
checking
know,
up on you.
Check out.
Okay.
Yeah. We'd love to see more Navajo Walmart material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I need to write some new jokes. Actually,
I can't wait, dude. I cannot wait for that. Okay. Check out Brian Bahe. He's got a Comedy Central stand-up set. Is it out already? No.
No, I think it's coming out soon.
Okay, it's coming out soon. So
Cool.
Google
Check that
that.
out.
Check that out. It's gonna
Yeah.
be real good. Check out Reservation Dogs. And then Brian, where else can our fans find you and your work?
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram
Ooh,
and
TikTok
Twitter.
first. Okay, bitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got 12 followers. I'm trying to like really trying to like get in there at Brian_Bahe.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And you can also find us on all the platforms, including TikTok at Asian Not Asian Pod. I'm also on there at the Fumi Abe. That's TheFumiAbe.
And you can find me on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro.
Please come to our next Hack City Comedy Show. That'll be November 23rd at the Caveat Theater
Yup.
in Lower East Side. Tickets will be available on our website, asian.asianpod.com, or I'll put a link in the episode description.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
I think that's it. Thank
All
you
right.
so much, Brian.
And Anos.
Miami.
Miami.
Hell yeah.
And Anos, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.